In this assignment, you're going to be creating melodies from one of three chord progressions. Always remember the first time that you open an assignment in Soundtrap to click on the title and enter your last name where it says last and your first name where it says first. Hit your return key and then make sure that you click on the save button. If you haven't done this yet, pause the video and put your name on the assignment now. Once you have your name on the assignment and you've clicked the save button, the first step in the assignment is to listen to each of the three chord progressions. First, go to progression number 1 and click on the solo button, which looks like the little pair of headphones. Once you click on the solo button, press the spacebar on your keyboard and listen to the chord progression. You can let it loop multiple times if you'd like to hear it more than once. Pause the video now and listen to progression number 1. After you listen to progression number 1, click the solo button again on the track header. Then go to progression number 2 and click the solo button on progression number 2. Hit the return key to bring the playhead back to the beginning and hit the spacebar again to listen to this chord progression. You can let it loop if you'd like to listen to the progression more than once. Pause the video now and listen to progression number 2. After you listen to progression number 2, click on the solo button again, then move down to progression number 3 and click the solo button on progression number 3. Hit your return key to put the playhead back at the beginning, then press your spacebar to listen. Again, you can let it loop if you'd like to listen to it more than once. Now pause the video and listen to chord progression number 3. After you've listened to all three chord progressions, the next step in this assignment is to choose the chord progression that you would like to use. For this example, I'm going to use progression number 2, but you could choose progression number 1 or progression number 3. Once you've made your choice, click on the solo button for progression number 2 and also click the solo button for melody number 2. Pause the video now and select the progression and the melody track that you're going to use for this project. The next step is to copy the region from progression number 2 and paste it into the region for melody number 2. One way to do this is to click on the region first to select it, go to Edit in the drop-down menu, and select Copy. Next, click on the track header for melody number 2 and make sure that your playhead is at the beginning. Then go back to Edit and select Paste. This will paste the region into the empty melody track above it. Pause the video now and copy and paste the chord progression region into the empty melody region track that you're going to use. After you've copied the region into the melody track you're going to use, click the solo button on the chord progression so that the only sound you're going to hear is from the melody track. Your next step is to double-click on the region, to open the window below, and make sure that you've selected piano roll. Pause the video and do those steps at this time. Once you're in the piano roll, you want to adjust your zoom so that you can see all 4 bars, and those 4 bars are extended almost to the edge of the screen. This is too far away, so by clicking the magnifying glass in the bottom right hand corner, I can zoom in or adjust until I just get the 5 over to the edge of the screen. Next, it's important that you have the pointer tool selected in the upper right. Put your cursor or your pointer above these lower notes in the piano roll, then click and drag so that the box covers all 4 of these notes. Once you have those 4 notes highlighted, press your delete key and delete those notes. Pause the video now and complete this step. Once you've deleted the low notes, the next thing we're going to do is we're going to adjust the length of all the remaining notes. Place your cursor in an empty area in the piano roll. Click and drag up and across to select all of the notes. Next, take your cursor and put it on the right edge of any of the notes until you get these double arrows that appear. Then you're going to click and drag to the left until we have all these notes down to half of a beat. Pause the video at this time and complete this step. After you've resized the duration of all of these notes, again, we're going to make sure that all of these are selected by clicking and dragging. Next, I'm going to hold the Option key down on my keyboard, and as I'm holding the Option key, I'm going to click and drag all these notes and then release. So now I've copied and pasted all 4 notes across the measure. Pause the video and complete this step. Next, I'm going to once again click and drag to select all of these notes. Once I have all of them selected, I'm going to hold the Option key down and once again click and drag until I bring both notes and paste them. Pause the video and complete this step. Next, I'm going to once again click and drag to select all of the notes. Then I'm going to hold my Option key and click, drag, and drop to copy the set of 4 notes. Option, click, drag, and drop. Pause the video and complete this step. If you've done this correctly, you should have these repeating 8th notes that run across the measure. If I hit the space bar, it should sound like this. Now, from these broken up pieces of the chords, you're going to create a melody. And the way you're going to create your melody is by deleting from the notes that appear in the piano roll. Remember that melody is one note after another. Anytime you have more than one note playing at the same time, you no longer have melody, but now you have harmony or a chord. So to do this, I'm going to come over to the upper right and I'm going to click on the trash can. Once I click on the trash can, anything I click is going to be deleted. So for example, in this first stack of 3 notes, I should delete 2 of these notes. So I'm going to click on the bottom note and the middle note. Now, for the second column of notes, I could delete all 3 of them. It's okay to delete an entire column. You just want to make sure that you don't have more than one note playing at a time. When I move to the next column, I'm going to delete the top 2. And for this column, I think I'll delete maybe the top and the bottom. Again, I think I'll delete an entire column here. And then I'll delete these notes. So now you can see that I have one note, only one note playing at a time. If I listen to this first bar, it'll sound like this. So now I have a melody. As I move, at this point, pause the video and work on creating your melody in bar 1. After you've created the melody in bar 1, I'm going to try to recreate the same pattern of the notes that I deleted in bar 2. So I deleted the bottom 2 of the first column. I deleted all 3 notes in the second column. Deleted the top and the middle, and then a top and the bottom. Then I deleted all 3 in the next column. Then I deleted the middle and the bottom and the top, and then the top and the middle. Pause the video at this time and see if you can recreate the same pattern in bar 2 that you created in bar 1. Once you've completed bar 2, now move to bar 3, where once again I'm going to try to recreate the same pattern that I did in bars 1 and 2. Now pause the video and recreate the same melody in bar 3 that you did in bars 1 and 2. Once I have that completed, I'm going to go back and listen to bars 1, 2, and 3. Now, as we did with our beat battle assignment, repetition is a good thing. So I repeated the pattern that I created in bar 1 and bars 2 and bar 3. But too much repetition gets boring. So when I get to bar 4, I'm going to change my pattern up. So here, I'm going to delete the top and the bottom, and then let's say the middle and the top, and I'll kind of do the same thing here. So that's going to change up bar 4. Then I'm going to listen to see what that sounds like. If you're pleased with that, then you've completed or finished creating your melody. Pause the video now and work on creating your melody. Once you have your 4-bar melody completed, now I want to go back and listen to see what it sounds like with the chord progression that I used to create it. So I'm going to come back to progression number 2 and click the solo button. So I'm just listening to melody number 2 and progression number 2. Let's see what it sounds like. Now, the chord progression, I like that, but the chord progression is a little loud, so I'm going to come over here to the track header, and I'm going to adjust the track volume by clicking on this knob and dragging down to lower the volume on the chord progression. And then I'm going to listen again. And now you've created your first melody. If you're happy with the result, make sure that you click the save button so that you save your work. Let Mr. Jones know when you're finished so he can listen to your melody.